Welcome back to Jacques in the garden. Tomorrow I leave my garden for 12 whole days. So today we're going to do some last minute panic gardening. We're gonna be planting, direct seeding, removing old plants, and some other stuff in between. And then when I get back, I will film the update of everything, what it looks like, what's changed, how those seeds that we started actually look after the exact 12-day period. So let's get started because believe it or not, we're planting some tomatoes. If I haven't mentioned it yet, the trip I'm going on is actually a camping trip. And one of my favorite things about the garden is bringing a bunch of fresh garden produce on the camping trips that we go on. Now, one of the advantages of being able to harvest tomatoes out of your own garden is you can actually harvest them at the breaker stage. If you see these tomatoes in my hand right here, these guys, see how they have that very light color? They're basically like 50% of the way to full color, whereas this is fully ripe. The beautiful thing about that is that basically I could bring this whole cluster on this camping trip, and by the time we're like maybe 4 or 5 days in, all of this will be fully ripe. But the cool thing is that right now they're still quite firm. They're not like that soft, mushy feeling that you could get from a really ripe tomato. So these will travel really well and they'll still be able to reach full flavor by the time we get there. Now this is the moneymaker tomato, one that I taste tested and said I probably wouldn't grow again, just because the texture really isn't that pleasant to me. But for cooking, perfectly fine tomato for cooking and doing things like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull these fruits off and then we'll chop this whole plant out, and I'll do that same procedure that I mentioned earlier. Now that the tomatoes have been harvested, all we have to do is chop this tomato plant all the way down to the ground, and then I'm going to be cutting it near the root level because I am going to be pulling the roots so I could check to make sure whether or not they actually had root knot nematode, and it looks like we've got our answer. Guys, this is actually a really cool example of what nematode resistant varieties can do for you. So right here, this is the moneymaker tomato, and it is absolutely loaded up with these galls from the root knot nematodes. That's why it's called root knot nematode, because it makes these knots in the root. So now the one next to it, this was moneymaker by the way, has no resistance. The one next to it is Big Beef Plus. And this one, the roots actually look fine. They look perfectly healthy. I think they're still in there. There's actually a little bit of swelling on the inside there. I could see that. So there's at least some galls on the inside there. But it's much more resistant to those nematodes and it's able to keep growing regardless. So that is why you look for those kinds of varieties. And actually I'll probably be expanding into more nematode resistant varieties next year. So we are going to go ahead and dig out some of the soil and remove it. I'm putting it into this bucket, which I will place in the driveway with a bag over, because you can kill nematodes using heat. I just can't lock down my whole garden to solarize it to actually kill them. So instead, we're going to be removing that soil that's contaminated. Now, the first tomato I'm going to be planting is the Big Beef Plus, followed by Lemon Boy Plus, and then finally the Harvest Moon tomato. Once I got those tomatoes planted, I went back through and did a Florida weave to keep them upright. So we'll see how much they grow. It's going to be 12 days. So I expect that we'll probably see at least a 25 to 50% increase in the height of the plant. Now that we got those tomatoes planted, I'm gonna harvest out this whole row here. There's not that many peppers yet on this side in particular. We've been actually eating a lot of peppers lately, which is great, but there are a couple that I could bring on this trip. So let's grab all of the crazy amount of sauce tomatoes I have behind me and a bunch of peppers. So this is not a bad start to the harvest, but there is actually even more tomatoes. And then right here is my Mexico midget melon, which has 1, 2, 3, I think there was at least four, five melons that I could easily see. And we'll see, by the time I'm back, maybe one of these will be ready. So now I'm inside my hall of shadows here between my 2 tall Florida weaves. I've got cherries and sauce tomatoes on this side. Then I have all new Bulgarian slicing varieties on this side. And there's obviously some disease. We are in August, so that's no surprise. But what I'm seeing over here is my first cluster off of this Bulgarian plant is ready. So that's quite exciting. These guys are maybe 80% of the way there on color, but I'm going to keep them separate so I could give them a proper taste test. Now on this side, I've got the Tyrian sauce tomatoes. These are the ones that are quite dry, so they don't need a lot of cooking. So I'm gonna go ahead and harvest all of these as well. And I think since I don't really have time to process these, a lot of these sauce tomatoes are going to just go straight into the freezer, and then I'll deal with them later, like in wintertime. And I might actually just go ahead and throw some of these extra ripe ones over to the chickens. They'll get a little snack. But now let's go take care of some other business. So right behind me, I have my corn patch, which is actually all finished up in the production sense right now. Oh, got a little corn earworm there. But that is a nice cob of corn. So this was the new variety that I grew this year. I think it was called Sugar Sweet Mama. But now what I'm going to do is actually start some more corn. And the variety I'm going to be starting is this Butter Gold from Botanical Interest, because this one is just 63 days to maturity. So it is the first week of August. So basically I should be able to get a corn harvest sometime in October, which I'm actually very much looking forward to. So let's get this in the ground. It should be up and at least 2 inches tall by the time I get back. All right, I've got quite the harvest here and I still have a ton of stuff to get done. So we're going camera off. I'll see you guys in 12 days. The next thing I'm going to do right now, just so you know, is go around and apply those beneficial nematodes to those new tomatoes. And then 12 days, we'll see how much more harvest there is, how everything grew, and if anything died. All right, it has been 14 days since we last saw each other. I thought it would only be 12, but I got back and I honestly did not feel like gardening. I had such a great time up in Northern California, up in the redwoods in Humboldt County. I turned off my phone for almost a full week straight, which was absolutely wonderful. I've already begun to do some of the harvesting. I have some tomatoes here, some of the pears from the tree. These are actually the last 2 on there, 1 squash. And last night we also harvested about a half dozen eggplant that we ate for dinner. And today we're gonna probably harvest another 2 or maybe 3 dozen more eggplant because there is a lot hiding back there. But now let's go through the garden, do some updates on the work we did, starting with those tomatoes that I planted right behind me. So the first tomato over here is the Italian heirloom and it looks absolutely wonderful, has multiple branches, some flowers forming. Then we've got the lemon boy here, which again, looks super healthy. I'm not seeing any signs of powdery mildew or anything like that. It's beginning to branch nicely. It's got some flowers coming. And over here up front, we've got the big beef, which looks absolutely wonderful, especially now sitting in the sun. It's got quite a few flowers on it already, lots of branching happening, and again, no signs of powdery mildew. Now, of course, I won't know whether the root knot nematodes have already invaded this plant until I basically determine that it seems like it has entirely stalled in its growth. But for now, everything looks really wonderful, super happy and healthy, so I'll take the win where I can. Now let's take a look over here where the melons were last time we saw a little update on them, and there's also a ridiculous amount of eggplant both right over here and then the Hugelculture bed to my right. So before we check that melon, let's go ahead and harvest this absolutely beautiful Anea eggplant. Take a look at that, guys. This one definitely got munched on by some critter, but the rest of it is absolutely stunning. Definitely one of the most beautiful eggplants I've ever grown or seen. And there's one more big one hiding in here. There it is. Just a wonderful color. One of the most beautiful by far, and also quite delicious. Not like a very bitter eggplant, not seedy, it still gets quite large. Tonight, moussaka is definitely for dinner. Here I am next to the Minnesota midget melon. Now that is the variety name, not the name I gave it, but it is supposed to be a compact melon, meaning that it's not supposed to take up that much space. But right now, I could see the trail of it over there by my harvest basket. There's more of it going that way. It's spilling out down this path, and it has literally 12 melons at the least. That's how many I could easily count and see. Now, that is pretty impressive considering this is a single plant. I actually double checked and it is indeed a single plant with multiple vines coming out of it. And one of the interesting things about this melon is that it's supposed to be a full slip melon. Now what that means is that when the melon is ready to harvest, it should come easily off the vine. So if I tug on this and it doesn't snap, it's not ready. And actually, let me get all these mealy bugs on the bottom. It should also smell like a melon. So right now it doesn't really have that aroma yet. But one thing that I did notice is that there was one on the ground here that seemed to have just fallen off on its own. You could see where the vine would have been attached. So I don't know if this is ready. Maybe we'll cut into it at the end. But the rest of them, as far as I could tell, I could give them a tug. We'll see, maybe this one's ready, maybe it's not. It's not like I harvested it, it fell on its own. So let's continue harvesting because there's a lot of eggplant and maybe one melon. We'll see if it's actually edible at the end. So here we are in my Hugelculture bed. That is this guy right here. The Hugelculture is the one that is full of logs and woody material at the base and then heaped on with compost and soil to make up the bed itself. And this is where I planted basically all of my eggplant except for that eggplant you saw in the raised bed. And it's doing quite well. So let's see how many we get here. I'm gonna guess at least a dozen. And remember, last night I harvested 6 of the more Asian style, the longer style eggplant. And now today we're harvesting all of the European style. We got a double eggplant here where like 2 basically fused together. So that's a 2-for-1 special right there, guys. You don't get that very often. And then these guys right here are a classic. This is the Rosa di Bianca eggplant, one of the most classically beautiful, interesting shaped eggplants out there. Definitely another one of my favorites. So we ended up with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 if you count that this is 2 eggplants on there. 12 total eggplants for today. And there's a couple others that I could harvest, but I'm going to let them get a little bit bigger, like this guy over here, which is harvestable size for sure, but it could also get bigger. And I have plenty of eggplant in this basket already. Now, one thing that I noticed is that back over here, I've got an insane quantity of green beans. They basically all decided to form right as I left. So I'm gonna do a quick harvest over there, and we'll do the rest of the updates. We ended up with a decent amount of green beans that definitely took a long time to pick through, and I'm sure I'm missing like a good 20% of them. It's really hard to find all the green beans. Now in the process, I also found another melon that had slipped on the ground. Looks like it's in the same amount of development stage as the other one. So hopefully one of these is at least edible. Again, oh, this one I do smell a little cantaloupe on, so maybe we'll cut this one up. Last time we were here, I was harvesting these sauce tomatoes on this side of the Florida Weave section. And today we're harvesting slicers, and not just slicers, but really quite large Bulgarian and Eastern European slicers. Here's one of them right here. A nice, big, beautiful tomato, but there's actually an even bigger one. This is the Tobolsk tomato. This is a variety from, I believe, Russia. It's got this wonderful orange color to it. Very excited about that one. And all of them are absolutely massive. So we're definitely gonna be eating some big tomato salads coming up here. Let's see how many we get. So there we have it, a nice little collection of slicers here, including the beautiful Tobolsk tomato. Quite a big one. And yeah, very excited about this. This was one of the ones that I planted later in the season, and it's just now starting to really give its fruit. And there's actually still quite a bit of green ones on here as the plants are getting taller. So I definitely have some more tomatoes in my future, which I'm very, very grateful for. So I think that's it on the harvesting, which, you know, not to say that we didn't get a lot here, definitely quite a good harvest. But now let's go do a final update on the corn progress and anything else we might have missed. In terms of the corn update, we didn't do that great on germination. I see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 that made it. So not the best. I think I was going for something like 30, but of course I was not here to monitor the watering and make sure that I gave it enough. So we will let this ride. I should still be able to get a couple final cobs of corn before the season ends. So now let's go cut up that melon and see if we got anything or if it's a total dud. So we ended up with a bunch of huge tomatoes, a couple extra sauce tomatoes and smaller ones, and a whole pile of eggplant. And now let's cut into one of these melons and see if we got anything at all, or if it's just going to be a dud. I can smell it, which makes me feel pretty optimistic here. So let's give it a cut. Oh, it actually smells really good. That's actually quite good. I'd say that's at least on par with the best melon I've had at the store. So nothing like crazy. I can't say I've ever had an amazing melon from the store, but it is still quite tasty. I'm happy that I grew it myself. And of course it did harvest itself. So my guess is it fell due to the weight of the melon and just fell a little bit early. So I'm definitely gonna be keeping a close eye on those remaining melons so we could get them at the right time. But there is so much work to do in the garden now that I've been gone for 2 weeks basically. And a lot of that you will not see, but thank you for checking in on this one and watching today's video. I'll see you guys next time, and good luck in your gardens. I know that everyone at home has plenty to do now that we are in August.